It's like, get on your skateboard and go do your thing. Because, you never lose the passion. The passion is there every single time you step on a skateboard. It's just the time sometimes really takes away from it. So really, there's just those times where you just have to shut everything off. So, sometimes we'll film a video and I'll, do a few kickflips afterwards. And I'll just feel my legs. Hey, I feel kind of good right now.
Hello and welcome to Promote the Hell Out of It. My name is Ms. Trujillo, and this is the podcast where I talk to people worth promoting about subjects I think are important. And I was so excited to talk to today's guest and to share the episode with you all. I talked to Gabe Cruz from Braille Skateboarding. He is a skater, a filmmaker, video production supervisor for the Braille Skateboarding YouTube channel, and he runs the Braille Army channel. Now, if you've ever watched any of the YouTube videos from Braille Skateboarding, you will probably know Gabe. He is often hosting it, he is often in them, and he's a wonderful human being. So obviously I was very excited for this conversation. If you haven't heard of Braille Skateboarding, you should definitely go check them out. They make YouTube videos to help people learn how to skateboard. They've got some awesome skaters in the team, and it's been wonderful for the past 2 years roughly. I've been following the progression of the YouTube channel and seeing the different people that come and go, and you get very attached to them. So we talk about all of this. We talk about the people that have left in the time I've been watching it. So we mentioned Lance and we mentioned Carlos, who's just left. We also talk about the background work that goes into having a YouTube channel like this, coming up with the amount of content that they have to produce, and about Gabe's overall time with Braille Skateboarding. This is a conversation I absolutely love. I was so excited to share it with everyone, so I hope you all enjoy it.
Hey, I feel kind of good right now.
Gabe, it is great to have you on the podcast. How are you?
I am great. Thank you for having me.
I was absolutely gutted to hear about the flooding, by the way. How is everything?
It has been better, definitely. Yeah, the Braille house has been in a state of disarray for a few weeks now, probably for another month before we get everything back in working order.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but it's okay. It's like rebirthing the Braille house from the ashes or from the flood, I like to think. Most of it's actually covered by our insurance, so it should be okay. It's just waiting for all the stuff to dry off. We've had these industrial drying machines in here going for 2 or 3 weeks now at this point.
Yeah.
So it's just a waiting game.
How does that affect the work that you had planned? Do you kind of have to come up with other video ideas that replace what you had in mind?
Yeah, so we film anywhere from 15 to 20 videos every single week for daily upload on 2 channels, and then 1 to 2 videos a week on a 3rd channel. So without our filming HQ, it definitely gets pretty difficult, but we really just have to go back to the roots of before we had the Braille house. So we plan mainly the same type of videos. Some of them have to be a little safer since we don't have our own private workplace to do all these crazy experiments. But yeah, mainly it's just figure out what videos, figure out a skate park that we can actually go to and get these videos done, and try to organize it from outside the Braille house, which is a little more difficult, but it's all good. It humbles you a little bit for sure.
No, it's awesome, and I think it's good for everyone to know the amount of work that goes into having to work around a problem like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not until you're doing something the size of what Braille does that you can really come across stuff like that, really.
Yeah, and that's why I'm really excited to be here today, is just give people kind of a behind the scenes on all the work that actually goes into Braille behind the scenes, because I don't think people actually fully know how much effort and video planning and production actually goes into everything. So I'm really excited to give people some behind the scenes.
I was gonna lead up to it, but we might as well jump straight in, seeing as it's been brought up. I do content creation, unfortunately not skateboarding orientated. But when I see the amount of videos you release, I'm absolutely blown away, because I know the amount of time that goes into editing that stuff. I know all that side of stuff. But what really blows me away is the fact that you come up with these ideas constantly. You've got like videos like the one where you're trying to do tricks with drones flying around you. You've got Carlos jumping off rafters. You've got some ridiculous concepts in there. How much time does it take to come up with all of these?
Believe it or not, it actually doesn't take too long. Every Tuesday, I usually go into the Braille house, take a seat in my office with Fetty and Uzi, and we have a little brainstorming session for like 30 minutes. where I come up with more of the conventional based ideas, more off our analytics, what has done well in the past,
Yeah.
try to replicate those. Those are just our standard videos. And then I look at Uzi and Fetty and I go, okay, guys, I really need it today. Hit me with everything you got. And then they kind of look at each other for like 30 seconds, and suddenly one of their eyes lights up and they're like, Gabe, I got it. And then they just give me one of like the craziest ideas. So a few weeks ago, Uzi was just like, what if we just soak a skateboard in bleach for 24 hours? What happens? And I'm like, I don't know, actually. That's actually a great idea. Let's figure out what happens. So then we do that. Turned out the video did well, and then we have a series that we could do. So that's really, yeah, the creative workflow is just, I don't know, it's very organic. It's just whatever we have fun doing. If it's something we'd enjoy, I feel like the audience would enjoy as well. Uzi Dan has actually been suggesting that we throw skateboards off a cliff for the last like month and a half, and every single time I've told him no, and in the next month I'm probably going to end up saying we can do it. So
You might have to do it, yeah, for
yep.
sure. No, I think that's really cool, and I think that's why people relate to the content so much. If you've got a bunch of people bouncing off each other like that, that's absolute perfect.
Yes, exactly.
I love it. And how about the amount of background work that goes into actually setting some of this stuff up? Because moving equipment around isn't that easy, right?
Yeah. The main production goes into keeping the Braille House in filmable order, making sure it looks nice, and we keep it clean because we have a lot of skate lessons and visitors coming throughout the week. And then it's just mainly, is this lit nicely, getting our garage door open so we get a lot of nice natural light. And that's why we painted it recently too, to make it look nice on camera. But yeah, our thing about our videos is that we have like a basic idea. Every single video we want to introduce, the skateboard or some kind of issue, and bring the audience with us on our journey of trying to do a kickflip on it, take it down the Braille drop. We always want to have some kind of end game when we start these videos, but really with that in mind, unless it's sponsored, we try to keep it as script free as possible. So sometimes we'll have, a sponsored video and these people are like, all right, well, what are we doing? And we're just like, well, we have this board and we're going to skate it, and that's about all we know. But that's the beauty of Braille skateboarding.
And I think it's funny because I remember episodes where I can distinctly remember it being sponsored, and it's partly because the sponsorship part comes across as you make it quite funny, almost on purpose. It's like, this is sponsored and we have to say this, and now we're going back to how we normally are.
Exactly. Yeah, we always go to Aaron. We're just like, we have this sponsored script. Just do whatever you feel is right, because he's the father figure of all of this. So
Yeah.
just whatever you feel is right. Just say it, make it funny, make it yourself, and people will dig it. And yeah, that improvisation. I don't know if you saw the Christmas tree video.
Yeah.
But that's another fantastic example of me just going, hey, we're skating this Christmas tree. I don't really know what else to do with it, so let's take it up a notch. And then we shot at 110 miles per hour through our roof. So yeah, that's where the beauty of the job is what's going to happen when you go into work every day. Fetty broke his jaw a few weeks ago. I did not expect that to happen. It kind of changed everything for us, and we're upset it happened, but we're also kind of just grateful for it.
For sure. Has there been any instances, and I think that the audiences that have been following the videos have seen some ridiculous stuff happen on screen.
Absolutely.
From glass smashing, where you're like, holy hell, that could have gone terribly wrong.
Yeah.
To, I mean, the Carlos video where he's jumping off the rafters, I don't think I can watch this much longer. Honestly, has there been a video where you're like, yeah, we can't do that again, that was too much?
Ooh, definitely. There have definitely been some ideas that we've come up with them, and we're just like, no, we definitely can't do that. All right, I will reveal one thing we did that we decided not to post a video. We did a video with these professional rollerbladers. They're all really, really good. One of their specialties was sketching behind cars. So we filmed this video of one of them skitching behind a car at like 115 miles per hour. And then he also did it on the freeway at one point. And we got all the footage. It turned out fantastic. And I was looking back at it, and I was just like, I don't know if we can promote getting out of your car on the freeway going 70 miles per hour and skitching on rollerblades. And that was terrifying watching that.
Yeah.
Nigel and I both had cameras during that instance, and both of us were just like, I don't know if we can really watch this, and I don't know if we should promote this. So that was one of the ones that was a little sketchy.
I love hearing that though, because I feel like skateboarding for a long time has had this view of it being quite rebellious, and that's great. I think that's appealing to a lot of kids and to myself growing up. But it's the people that I always looked up to in skating were always really good at teaching you boundaries as well, and teaching you to grow up.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. I looked up to the kids that when I got there were like, you should wear a helmet if you're going to do this. Like, that was important. How important is that to Braille to actually be given the right image and deciding not to put out a video when you've taken the time to record it?
Oh, it's one of the most important things for us. Skateboarding has kind of a bad view to the public eye sometimes, and there's some people that go out there and give us a bad name, fighting security guards, refusing to get kicked out. And our main thing is that we just want to make good videos getting people into skateboarding. We don't want to promote going out there and being crazy and fighting people and just being a jerk on your board. We just want people to go out there and have a good time. And that's why we keep all of our videos strictly family friendly. We try not to cuss or do any of that stuff. If we go out street skating, we get kicked out, we say, okay, thank you. You guys have a good day, and we'll see you next time. It's always been just about the fun of skateboarding, not about, being cool on a skateboard or any of that stuff. I mean, a lot of the boards that we've skated, we've looked like complete idiots. And it doesn't matter, because we just go out there and we're just like, if we can kickflip this, that is going to be amazing. And people would love that. When Fetty Trey flipped the spoon, people were looking at us like, what are you doing on that spoon? And Fetty's just like, ha ha, just Trey flipped it. What you gonna do? So yeah, it's all about the fun with us. We just want to get people on a skateboard, introduce them. We're really pushing getting full, complete skateboards on our website now, so they can get skateboarding made simple, and then they can get their own skateboard right here on one platform, and then go watch all of our tutorial videos, learn how to skate, and just show their friends. I actually started skateboarding because of Braille, so that's all what it's about.
That's awesome. I wanted to touch on that. So how did you get started with Braille? How did it all come about?
Okay, so it's a long, funny story. Back in 2015, I think I was 15 years old. I'm 21 now. I was watching Braille and Revive videos. I actually watched Revive's videos first with Andy Schrock, and then they put Aaron on their skateboard team. And then I started watching all the Braille videos, and I was watching these videos religiously every single day, constantly, all of their playlists, every single episode, looking at all of their tricks. Just, how do I do that? I want to do that so bad. So it's freshman year of high school. I'm watching my friends all on their skateboards. I'm just like, why have I not done this yet? I've had a skateboard before, but I've never actually tried to do anything other than just push around. So I went and got my first skateboard, was doing a few tricks, learned how to ollie actually pretty quick, I feel like, for a brand new skater. And I was like, you know what? I think I can get this. So I started practicing. I started watching Aaron's tutorial videos. And then eventually I was actually getting kind of decent. I learned how to kickflip, learned how to varial flip. All those happened actually pretty fast. And then at that point, I had done some video editing, some special effects with Adobe After Effects. So I had a little bit of experience in the field of, animation, special effects, editing. So I thought I would send in a skate sport submission, which for those of you that don't know, you can send in a skate sport to Aaron. And it's basically, if you're having a problem with a trick, you just ask Aaron how to fix your trick. You show him what your problem is, and he'll analyze what you can do differently and how to learn the trick. So I had to learn how to do a tray flip. So to differentiate myself from other people, I did a Harry Potter special effect where I teleported in, did my skate sport, and then teleported away. And I was like, hopefully he sees this, and hopefully he sees how cool that was and remembers me. he ended up choosing it. He did mention the fact that I teleported in and that he really liked that. And then I kept learning how to tray flip from that advice until one day I saw him at Fremont Skate Park. I saw him post on his Instagram that he was there. And I was still pretty young at this point, so I was still nervous. I was a fan, so I had to get a little convincing from my mom. She was like, Gabe, this is your chance right here. Like, you got to go talk to him. I was like, anything you can get out of this would be fantastic. So I was like, all right, fine, I'll go do it. So I went, did a live skate sport with him at Fremont Skate Park, learning how to tray flip. So it all kind of came full circle. He ended up remembering me from teleporting in, which was my end goal. And then basically I was just like, hey, Aaron, any help you need with anything. I have experience with video editing, special effects. I can film. Anything you need, just let me know. And I literally just gave him my phone number on a receipt that I had in my wallet. And then about a month later, he texted me. He was like, hey, dude, let's see what you got. There's these title sequences that I want made for #PushSkateboarding. This is basically how I want it. Let's see what you can do. I ended up apparently nailing it because I'm still around.
And when you actually went into Braille proper, what were you doing?
At first, I was an intern for about 3-ish years. And that was mainly just me doing filming, a little bit of behind the scenes video stuff. Sometimes I was in the videos as well. And then I ran our secondary channel, the Braille Army channel, back when it was like a brand new baby. And that was when it was all user submitted content. So I would just download a video, put our title and our end card on there, and maybe do a little talking piece as to what it was or what they were doing.
Yeah.
And that was about it. I was just making really short edits. So it wasn't until I was a full-time employee that Aaron really gave me the go-ahead to creatively control Braille Army and start making actual content with our guys. And then once Lance left, he really gave me the go-ahead to take over the main channel and start coming up with the ideas for that.
That's amazing. And I wanted to touch on that because I loved seeing the transition between. I mean, it was incredibly sad to see Lance leave. I loved Lance so much, and he is someone that really helped me actually get into Braille as a whole. But the attitude that everyone had was just so friendly, and I feel that we've mentioned it already. But the attitude that sometimes gets highlighted for skating and encouraged in skate parks makes it quite an aggro, not a very nice place to be around, and it can be quite intimidating to get into asking people for help, for example.
Yeah.
So when I saw Lance and then you take over and that attitude remained and you just grew it, that was absolutely beautiful to watch.
That's one of the things we miss so much about Lance, is just his persona was just incredible. And you always see the controversy in the comments, even when Lance was around. He'd have a video that would come out and people would be like, Lance, what are you doing? We hate you. But it wasn't until he was gone that everyone was just like, oh my gosh, Lance was like the most amazing human being ever. So yeah, it was personally really hard for me to see Lance go, just because he was kind of there when I was growing up. So now that he was going to be out of Braille and I would have to take over his responsibility, it was really scary and really sad to see kind of like a brotherly figure kind of just leave my life and not really know where he was going or what he was going to be doing, but wishing him the best. But yeah, I knew it would be really hard to live up to anything Lance did, but I just wanted it to be my personal goal to continue his attitude, his confidence with everything. Even when things were bad, he was always just confident, looking for the new idea. And that's why I think people loved Lance so much, is because they got to progress with him. And he really just showed that, it's possible to have fun, even when you're a brand new skater, when you're not the most talented. It doesn't matter. You just go out there and have a good time.
Yeah, like I say, it was definitely upsetting, and he made a huge impact on me. But I don't want to underestimate the impact you're personally making on people with what you're doing, because I feel like the way you've just talked about Lance shows your attitude towards the team, towards each other, and your attitude towards growing in your job role as well. And that's exactly what you've done. I feel like you've accomplished looking at what Lance was doing and taking what he was doing and replicating it with your own style.
Thank you very much. Yeah, that was my biggest fear, kind of going into everything. But yeah, there's no repeating what Lance did. Lance
Exactly.
is the skate god. He's a legend. But yeah, I just knew I had to step up, and yeah, I've just done my best. It was one of my biggest anxieties for so long, was just trying to keep it going, and I was so unsure of myself and unsure of the trust that Aaron was, putting in me. But that means a lot to hear, because yeah, I don't think people fully know how much any of us really put into this channel, especially myself. We say we work our 5-day week schedule, but it really is 24/7. I'm, coming up with the video ideas, or I'm at a store with my girlfriend and I look and I'm like, oh my God, we could skate that. Babe, I got to get this, or, coming up with the next great thumbnail, what can, help us succeed, and what's going to help people get interested in skateboarding, what's going to really show the fun of it. So it's literally it's been my life for the last 2.5 years. It's just, how can I make this fun? How can I make people enjoy this? And how can I live up to what Aaron and Lance started? It means a lot hearing you say that, because sometimes people don't fully know how difficult it is and how much work goes into it. But I literally put everything I have into this,
Yeah. Yeah. And I think for me personally, it was obvious. I sent the email to Braille asking to do a podcast with one of you, knowing full well that you are incredibly busy. As I said, I see how much content goes out. And the last thing I honestly expected was to have such nice, welcoming, friendly conversation via email and everything to get sorted in a way that isn't even seen in big companies that I sometimes have to do corporate work for.
We look for these kind of opportunities. Any way to give back or be good to people, I think is our big MO throughout everyone, even the smaller filmer team, or our bigger supervisors. It's always just, how can we help the community? So doing a podcast, I think, is another great way to get skateboarding word out to a different audience.
Yeah, yeah,
And
for
that's why
sure.
we're so excited to get into any different, area that we possibly can, which is why recently we've been doing more, rollerblading, BMXing, scootering, literally anything that we can do. I know we're called Braille Skateboarding, but our ultimate goal is to teach people how to skateboard. But if we can also show that as a society, skaters and scooters don't have to hate each other. You don't have to
Absolutely.
hate the BMX kid at the skate park. We just want people to just be better people. And if that means getting on a skateboard, fantastic, that works for us. But that's why we just try to be so professional with everything we do. If we get an email from a fan, we make sure we email a fan back, and then we'll, copy and paste it into a group chat. And, all of our bosses will say, like, this is the message that we get from fans every single day. So we want you guys to know that, you're doing really good for our community, and you guys should keep it up, because, you're making a difference around here. So it makes us feel great.
And I think that the family element of Braille and of the community as a whole is something that comes up a lot. It's why it hurt so much, I think, for the community and as you mentioned, internally, for Lance to leave. And obviously we've seen it repeated with Carlos
Yeah.
leaving recently. How do you learn to deal with that in the right way?
We definitely just make the most of the time we have together. Carlos leaving was pretty sudden, so there wasn't really any time to be like, hey, you're leaving. How am I going to deal with this? Because I honestly didn't really know that he was leaving until he told me he was going a few weeks before he left.
Oh man.
So yeah, I don't really see any point in trying to plan for someone to leave. Mainly, it's just wish them the best, and it's always going to be hard when you lose someone that you've been that close to for so long. So with Lance, I grew up with him. With Carlos, I've been filming him so much for the
Yeah.
last 2 years, and we've grown such like a close filmer friend, skater relationship that, believe it or not, is like closer than a lot of things. So it got to the point with Carlos where we'd be kind of thinking of ideas or tricks for him to do, and we would both say a trick at the exact same time, and I would just be like, "What? How'd you do that?" And we're just like, "I don't know. We're just in sync." So yeah, you can't really plan for anyone to go. You can't really give them a hard time or look at them differently for wanting to do something different with their life. That's just the way it goes. But really, it's just that period right after where you have to get used to everything. Maybe call in a few guest skaters for a few weeks just to make sure your content's good, and then eventually it all kind of just blows over and you figure out a way to make it work.
Of course, and I think it's important for people to see because it replicates real life at the end of the day. You can't be bitter at your friends for getting on with what they want to do.
Oh, definitely not.
Like that it's something that is difficult sometimes, like we need to learn to appreciate the time that we've had, and I think Braille is teaching people to do that, in all honesty.
Absolutely, yeah. Carlos, to his core, is a street skater. He goes out there and he films video parts and he kills the streets.
Yeah.
And that's just who he is. So the fact that he came to Braille for 2 years, worked so hard for us, filmed anything we wanted, and did all these incredible things, like I don't see how we can't be the most grateful people for him.
Absolutely.
He did so much for us, and we will always miss him, and we will always wish him the best. But there are a few tricks that I requested that he didn't land in a video for me, which I did tell him that he owes me in his video part.
Okay. Are you gonna reveal them, or are they a secret?
Yeah, I can reveal them. It's the double hard flip down the 5 stair.
Nice.
He never did. That was his hardest trick, and we tried filming that video a few times, and he couldn't do it. So this is my shout out to him if he's listening. Is that he's got to get that in his next street part.
For sure. Like I said, the rafter video absolutely killed me. I was in it felt like I was in physical pain watching that. So I'd say I'd want to watch that landed, but in all honesty, I don't. I think I don't want to watch that landed.
Yeah. Yeah, the funny thing is that he got actually pretty hurt on that video. He was, his back hurt, his legs hurt pretty bad for a few days, and I was totally fine with not ever doing it again. And of course, with those scary, challenge videos, we always want to make sure that he's doing it for some kind of prize to make it worth it. After he filmed that, we still gave him $1,000, and he was like, comes up to me a month later, goes, "Gabe, honestly, I want to do it again, no cash prize."
No way.
And I was just like, "Carlos, are you sure?" Like, I don't know. Like, can we give you some money or something? Like, we got to make it worth it. He's just like, "No, I got to do it for myself. I know exactly what I did wrong, and I can do it." And that's the beauty of Carlos, is that, like, the money, it helps motivate him, but at the end of the day, he's just blood skateboarder.
In it for
That's
the skating.
all he cares about. Is just, he's one of the most passionate, talented skateboarders I've ever seen, and it's like inspiring to see him huck himself off the Braille drop. I won't even jump off it, on my feet.
Yeah.
And he's going and doing all these crazy tricks, grinding down it, sliding down it, jumping off 17-foot rafters. It's beautiful to see. So.
But there is something about skating where your level of being able to do things doesn't come into play if you're really passionate about it.
That's true.
I got pretty stuck at bonelesses and old school tricks, and yet I spend so much time skating because I enjoy it so much. And there are periods I suffer from pretty bad back issues, so I do what I can, but it doesn't take away the enjoyment factor at all.
It doesn't, yeah.
And I think that's what Braille really highlights as well. You've had so many different examples of different types of skating, and that's wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a big thing for us too. Is we get a lot of hate on the internet about our skate team, and a lot of people look at us and they're just like, "Oh, Aaron Cairo, he doesn't even deserve to be pro." And Fetty and Nigel, they're not even great skaters. Carlos was easily the best skater on your team, and now he's gone, so you guys, you're trash. Gabe shouldn't even skate. So we get all these comments about, our team isn't the best, but I think that's the beauty in it. If we had a team full of insane professional skaters who all wanted to do these crazy tricks down the stairs and down the Braille drop, I think it would get boring. Because if you're a new kid learning how to skate, I know I was watching these tricks from the Revive guys thinking, wow, that was the most amazing trick I've ever seen. But I feel like I can do it if I really tried.
For sure, that's the thing, and that's what people are missing. Like, I'm really gutted to hear that you get comments like that, and obviously that's going to happen on social media because it's an absolute waste of space sometimes, not always, for people wanting to leave nasty comments. But in all honesty, I grew up watching skate videos and feeling very much like I can't do any of that. And it wasn't till I started watching the Z Boys type stuff
Yeah.
that I was like, wow, there's stuff in that I can do. Not all of the Z Boys skaters were of like the level of Tony Hawk or Jay Adams or someone like that. You had the complete range of people, and that's what made it accessible.
Yeah, exactly. I like to use myself as a pretty good example. Like, I've been skating for a pretty long time, but I'm nowhere even close to the level that, Fetty or Nigel are. I watch them every single day, and I don't think people fully understand that those guys are skilled on their skateboards. They're doing some things that are really, really difficult, but they're still improving every single day.
Yeah.
The level of improvement that I've seen, even Carlos, who's a professional, insane skateboarder, I've seen him improve so much just over the last 2 years. And that's really where I think people, kind of learn to love our personality and love who we are as people, is that they get to grow with us. And that's why we like doing all these instructional videos. And on the Braille Army channel, we do these Today I Learned videos, persistence, where, you show how hard it is to learn a new trick. We just want people to know that skateboarding isn't always the easiest thing. It can get really difficult, it can get sweaty, it can get bloody, you can get angry doing it. But that's the beauty of it, is that if you're passionate about it, that's the beauty of it, is that you just go out there, you put your heart and soul into it. Sometimes you don't succeed, but that's okay, because then you just rest up and you go out the next day. We always just want people to have a way to progress with us and see us, getting better on our board, so it motivates them to go out and get better, or even just pick up a skateboard.
And that's exactly what you're doing, is motivating people. And I think part of the conversation we're having is due to the fact that it's been touched on, you don't have the ego that is sometimes shown on other skate teams or in general portrayed of skateboarding in the media.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that will create enemies at times, because people expect these huge personalities that are wild. But I mean, when I watch like Nigel skate, I am constantly in awe of the tricks they're landing, and I don't think it maybe stands out in the same way as when you see some of the skate videos in other settings, because you remember the person more than you remember the skating, if that makes any sense with some videos.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I like how you put that, because Fetty.
Yeah.
He's like really good at hard flips, but his title was, like, then he can no slide anything. Or more recent is he breaks everything. So yeah, it's really cool that all of these people have their own things. Like, Nigel is fantastic at pop shove-its, do some of the steeziest ones I've ever seen. I'm really good at varial flips, and that's kind of gotten its own name. Aaron is the manual master. And, Carlos is just nuts. We're a skateboarding channel that teaches people how to skateboard, but we also just want to come off as like friends. We want people to really be able to feel like they know us through our videos. So, I've met so many people who've come up to me in public, and they're just like, Gabe, it's an honor to meet you. I feel like I know you. This is so weird because you have no idea who I am, but I watch you every day and I feel like I know you. And it's just like, it really kind of humbles you, and it's just like, you're fantastic to meet you. I'm really glad that you came up to say hi. And, it's always just, just a blessing being able to be that for someone. And just, be that person that can inspire them, or, be that person that they watch every day to look for motivation or something like that. It's really cool.
You've got a wonderful attitude towards you, Gabe. I mean, I felt exactly the same. I was excited to chat to you. I was a bit nervous to chat to you because of that. I watch your videos quite regularly, so you get to feel like you kind of know someone, which is the very weird thing about the internet, that
Yeah.
you can feel like you know someone that you've never met before.
Yeah.
But the attitude you've had, and first of all, I had no idea that you were 21, because I think you come across as older than that in a good way. You look young still, but you come across as very mature. So I'm in my 30s, just to give you an example.
Mhm.
And I think that most people that I know who would be hosting a YouTube channel as big as Braille and were 21 would have a massive ego behind them. So it's wonderful to see you. Well, and I guess it's part of what we've been talking about, to see Braille develop this environment where people are maintaining themselves so down to earth.
Yeah, that's my main thing is personally. There's like a personal side and a business side to this. Personally, like I grew up watching Aaron, so knowing that he chose me out of so many people that he could have chosen for this job, it's always been my big thing is to just like, he's done so much for me in the
Yeah.
past couple years that it's the least I can do just to like put my all into this. And I've seen, some examples of just, people that have just gone so bad down this route, and it's not something I ever want to do. And I literally just want to live up to what Aaron was doing. He was working by himself doing the Braille channel for years, all of it, self-made, self-edited, self-filmed. He just like put a camera on a rock and filmed himself, and that's how Skateboarding Made Simple Volume 1 was done. And it's inspiring, and that's why I've, put it upon myself to just live up to the good person that Aaron is. Because even now, we go out in public and Aaron is like a mega celebrity, it feels like. How many people come up to him, and every single one, he's just as passionate, just as nice too, and his mood never wavers, which is really, really awesome.
Yeah, Aaron is incredibly inspiring. I was actually watching the world's tallest full pipe video
Oh yeah,
recently, and just still watching Aaron take things on the way he does, and the way he treats other people whilst doing this stuff is it's just marvelous.
it
I love
is.
watching him constantly.
Yeah, it's and that goes to the business side. Is that he it's always him just preaching like we don't have to be here right now. Like we got lucky. Our channel exploded back in 2016, and people really liked what we were doing. So we always look at this like, like we're completely blessed. So that's why, all of us are just, we're just here to do our duty. We just want to make the world a better place using skateboarding as a platform. And that was always Aaron's goal, and that's the goal that he wants us to achieve as well. And we're all doing it as a team, as one cohesive unit, and it's really great to be a part of something like that. Because you have a lot of skateboarders in one team doing this, and maybe the average person would look at us and be like, how do these guys get everything done? And honestly, sometimes I personally think that. I'm just like, look at the platform we have, the videos we get done every single week. Like, how does a group of all these just guys make this happen? And it's just really, really funny to me sometimes that we can do all this stuff, and it's awesome. It's humbling.
For sure, and honestly, it's very inspiring to me personally, and I think to anyone who listens to this as well. I wanted to chat to you, considering the amount of work that goes into it. We've touched on that. How much skating do you personally get to do these days, considering you're doing so much behind the scenes stuff?
Not as much as I would like. Sadly, that's the one downside to all the content we make is that when you're making so much skating content during the week, when I have my 2 days off, sometimes I just want to rest or go out to the city. But usually I skate like 1 to 2 times a week. I just try to keep my skills in check and just practice when I can and learn a new trick every time I do skate. I definitely wish I could skate more, like 4 to 5 times a week. But yeah, when you're doing like 50 hours a week, trying to get a YouTube channel, keep it running, it's a little hard to get on your skateboard. But I do as much as I can.
For sure, and there's videos every once in a while that come out that just remind us all how much of a great skater you really are, dude. Because another video that I loved was the kickflip every weird board video.
Yep.
And when it came to you kickflipping, I was watching it with my partner, and she was like, "Holy hell! I forgot that Gabe could skate that well. He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it." And it's true. We forget sometimes because you're obviously doing something else most of the time.
Yeah.
What's the latest trick you're trying to learn?
Oh, the latest trick. I don't really know if I've been working on any tricks lately, but we just recently got back from Woodward, and the main thing that I've been trying to do recently is take the tricks that I have and improve them.
Yeah.
So I've been, trying to get my kickflips better on obstacles. I've been trying to skate. Oh, I'm so sorry about that.
Sorry.
I think I get about one call from that home phone a year, and of course it's right now, right?
Of course, there's probably someone trying to sell you home insurance.
Yep, definitely. But yeah, as for learning tricks, it's really just doing something that I've never done on a new obstacle. It's just perfecting the craft. I am a very mental skater, which I'm sure comes off in videos sometimes. I'm the complete opposite of Carlos. He just hucks and sends and thinks about it later. I always overanalyze everything, so it's really hard for me to skate the 5-stair. It's really hard for me to learn a new trick on stairs or like a different obstacle. So really, it's just mentally, fortifying myself and being like, okay, you can do this trick here. Now go and do it on this hip, and then maybe do it out of a grind, and then maybe do it, somewhere else. And that's where I've been trying to improve my craft lately.
No, that's awesome, and it's really good to hear that although you've only got that time, you're not just using it to sort of not keep moving ahead. You're still got stuff that you're working on, and that's really encouraging, I think, because people, I know people who skate and work full time, and it's really difficult to get motivated to progress when you feel like you haven't got the time to put into it.
It is. It was really hard for a while. Yeah, it's taken a lot of, convincing from other people. And I've just been like, hey, well, what are you doing? I'm just like, I don't know. I'm kind of messing up. I'm just like, get on your skateboard and go do your thing. Because, you never lose the passion. The passion is there every single time you step on a skateboard. It's just the time sometimes really takes away from it. So really, there's just those times where you just have to shut everything off. So, sometimes we'll film a video and I'll, do a few kickflips afterwards, and I'll just, feel my legs and be like, hey, I feel kind of good right now. So in those moments, sometimes I'll just, kind of put everything off for an hour. Just be like, hey guys, let's just skate. I'm feeling pretty good. Fetty, let's play skate. Maybe I'll film a Braille Army video after this. So sometimes you have to put the work to the side. I don't know if Aaron's going to listen to this and come at me later, but yeah, it's worth it when you're feeling good to go out there, because a lot of times my secret to it is that if I'm not feeling it, I just don't do it. And as soon as I'm feeling it, I get confident, and then I'm like, okay, I can do something. So I learned, a 540 flip because I was feeling good. I was like, all right, let's do this. And I learned that pretty quick. So
for sure. And I honestly think it's actually really good advice. I know it can seem backwards to be like, oh, I'm going to put off work for a bit to skate extra. But it's all linked. The reason I love talking about skateboarding is because I feel it's part of the life that people should be doing. And it doesn't have to be with skating. It can be with anything else. But even if you're working full time, finding something that makes you completely happy and that pushes you is really fulfilling and actually helps you come back to whatever work you have to do full on and with the energy to complete it, I think.
Yes, it is, yeah. Especially myself, when I do skate and I'm doing these tricks, it's incredible to see how easy Fetty and Nigel and Carlos and Aaron, how easy they make these tricks look.
Yeah.
That's like the fantastic thing. Like I am the lucky one that gets to film everything and isn't necessarily asked to do all of these things, but I get to watch every single day. So for all the people in our audience that watch these videos every day, I still remain to this day just as big of a fan as all of these people. I still think I'm Aaron's biggest fan, honestly. Every time he does a trick or something like that he posts on his Instagram, I'm the first person to text him. I'm like, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really, really great to see these guys, going out there and making skateboarding look fun. And when I'm in the videos, that's what I try to do as well. And I try to just show what it's like to have a good time with your friends and have a good time on your skateboard. And it's really great in my position, being the one that comes up with these ideas, and then being able to see all these other guys work together to make it happen. It's fantastic.
It replicates on the audience as well, and I want to illustrate, and I know it kind of goes off topic, but we'll touch on the last thing I wanted to touch on for the last 10 minutes in a second. But my partner and I went over to Southeast Asia. For 9 months. We spent traveling around there, and we were still watching Braille videos on YouTube whilst out there. And something that had constantly come up, I don't think it's being mentioned quite as much now, but it was for a while, was Jamba Juice.
Yes.
Now, in the UK, I had no clue what that was. I was just like, what is Jamba Juice? I was like, is it... Like, the first thing I said to my Jane is like, is it a secret word for drugs? She was like, no, it's not.
Oh, that's great.
So we were in Asia, and we went into this shopping center, and there was a stall for Jamba Juice. They had it out there.
Yes.
Ridiculous. And we took a photo in front of it. So yeah, it really does impact our daily lives in a huge way. So thank you for introducing me to Jamba Juice.
That's amazing.
And another thing is that my partner's favorite tattoos ever are Fedi's Disney tattoos.
Oh, yes.
She is obsessed with those tattoos. So yeah, do not underestimate how much impact your YouTube channel has on people's daily lives.
Thank you very much. That means a lot. And a funny story about Fedi's tattoos is that I think his Disney sleeve is more famous than he is. Because we've been hanging out a lot lately. Literally everywhere we go, someone is like, I love your Disney princesses. Can I take a picture of it? And they have no idea who he is.
Well,
awesome.
Please, if you get the chance to talk to Fedi, tell him I am obsessed with his skating. I absolutely love it. It's not just his Disney sleeve. It's my partner that's obsessed with that, not me.
Yeah, I definitely will, for sure.
So the last thing I wanted to touch on was some of the awesome guests, collaborations you've done on Braille.
Yes.
I was a huge fan of the videos you did with Andy Anderson because it really went well with my skating style. I thought it was wonderful. And one that's stuck in my mind constantly is the one you did with Felipe, if I'm pronouncing that right, where the skater had no legs. How much work goes into actually organizing something like that?
Not as much as you think. Mainly...
It's always a good start.
Yeah. Aaron and Carlos are really good at finding people that we thought would work good with us. So basically, we just find our person that we think would like to do what we do, or would be a good showcase of talent, or be kind of inspiring just like we would. And then really it's just as simple as finding an email or a source of contact, or DMing them on Instagram and seeing if they'd be down. And if they are, it's as easy as just seeing when we can get them up here. We get them a hotel, and it's all history from there.
That's awesome. And what, in terms of the different personalities you meet, has there ever been someone that's really clashed with the kind of attitude that Braille's got?
It's usually pretty easy, just because if someone doesn't want to be associated with us, they don't. And if they do, they will. So yeah, that's the really cool thing, is that if people want to be in our videos, they're usually super down for it. A really good example is Manny Santiago. When he came to skate our warehouse, he was like the biggest pro we've ever had skate for us at that time. So all of us were like, Manny Santiago is going to come and skate in our videos. That is freaking awesome. So we weren't sure what to expect. None of us had ever met him. And Manny turned out to be one of the best human beings I've ever met in my life.
Oh, it's always so great.
Yeah, and a lot of times, you skate with someone and like they're really cool, but it's really hard to find that one skater that just motivates you. So Manny Santiago was that guy, where he was going on our handrail and doing like varial heel flip 5-0, and we were just like, how does he do that? There's no way I can follow that up. And then he's just like, Fetty, come on, go do something right now. And Fetty's just like, all right then, let me go. He was one of the most inspiring skaters to watch and just skate with, because he was such a positive force of energy and such a motivational presence that, like, literally I felt like I could go do something, and I was just filming the video. Yeah, so Manny was amazing. Joey B was really fun to be around, and we've been working on getting him up again. It's just he's really busy. Yeah, he's a super funny guy. Andy Anderson, as you mentioned before, he is also a fantastic human being. If anyone ever has a chance to meet Andy Anderson, he is just like, his life is just on a different spectrum. Like, he just goes out there and he just loves the world and he loves skateboarding, and his skating is a treat to watch. It is just, some of the stuff he does is just so mind blowing. And yeah, the sad thing is that you have these videos and we're talking about them and people are just like, oh well, you know, can you kiss up to Andy Anderson anymore? I'm just like, how can you not? Andy is just, it's fantastic to watch that level of talent, and I don't think anyone can fully really measure it up to anything unless you see it in real life.
But again, it comes back to that ego thing. Why on earth should you not talk well about people that you're inspired by and that are your friends? And it seems ridiculous to have this almost macho attitude of being like, I'm not going to say he's good because I need to be cooler than...
Yeah.
That's ridiculous, and that's what I've loved. In fact, with Andy, he's one of the first skaters in, it's got to be a few years now, where I've watched him through the Braille channel and become obsessed with his skating and been like, right, I need to follow everything he does.
Yeah.
If you watch those videos and you come out of it with the impression that you're kissing ass, then I think the person who's got the problem is the one thinking that, not yourselves, in all honesty.
Exactly. Yeah. I see no problem with it. A lot of people were upset with me for a long time about how much I scream and all that stuff, but really it's just because I just get excited to see my friends progress. And if Fetty is trying to learn a trick for 2 hours and he's having a really hard time, and then after 2.5 hours he goes and lands it, I am screaming my head off for that guy. It's all about, like, there's no ego in this. I know I'm not the world's best skater. I know there's so many people better than me, but I don't care.
Yeah, the only people that do care are the ones that have their own ego, because at the end of the day, any kid who wants to get into skating is going to watch that and be like, that's how I'd react if I was down the skate park.
Yeah.
That's how we should react, and that's what's going to make you love what you want to do and what you guys are doing as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's and back to what you were saying about Andy Anderson. I was skating at this skate park in Santa Cruz a few weeks ago. I was just kind of cruising around the park, and then a pretty old park local actually came up to me, and he was like, "Hey, I heard the kids mentioning who you were. I remember now. Like, I watch your videos now, but I watch them because of Andy Anderson." And then he was just talking about how Andy's skate style is so unique, and all the videos we put out with him are so great, just because you don't really get to see it very often. And then there's a giant loop at that park, and he brings me over there, and a lot of people sticker slap the side of the wall to see how high they can get. And he goes, "Can you guess which one was Andy Anderson? Because I did see him skate here once." And I looked, of course, the very tallest one above everyone else was Andy Anderson. I was just like, I bet that was him, huh? Some of the people I get to work with, and I've been so honored to be able to film some of these people and watch some fantastic skateboarding over the years. It's just, I know I've said it a lot in this podcast, but it's fantastic to just be a part of this, and to see all these people progress, and to see all these people come and visit us and just destroy our Braille house. It's incredible to be a part of it.
For sure, and I can't even begin to describe how inspiring and encouraging it is to watch the videos you produce. Not in terms even of skating, just in terms of having a crappy mental health day. Your videos make me feel better. So honestly, thank you so much for that. The last thing I will ask you before we end the podcast is, why should people start to skate, and why should people check out Braille Army and use that to help them with it?
I think that skateboarding is a beautiful way to kind of just get your feelings out. It's a really good, channel of passion. And I think if you're kind of in like a tough spot with your life or you don't really know what to do, I think it's a really way to kind of teach yourself, you know, like this perseverance, these ways of pushing yourself that, other things don't really make you do that. So I know skateboarding personally that progression, having to learn how to kickflip, I would literally just try it over and over and over for hours, and I would mess up over again. And it was always like the toughest thing. Learning how to tray flip was the hardest trick I've ever learned. But it was that learning curve, those months I spent just tossing around the most terrible tray flip attempts. It really, I feel like it fortified me as a person, being able to put that much effort into something and not succeed. It really, you know, it's the failure in life that really makes you learn. So that's why I like skateboarding so much, because like when I skate, 95% of the my skating experience is not landing tricks. So it's that 5% that you strive for actually landing it that really really makes it all worthwhile. There's some times where I've learned a trick where it's just been the absolute best moment of my life. When I landed my first tray flip, I wanted to freaking do a backflip. And if I tried it, I probably would have landed on my neck and hurt myself.
I know
Uh,
I know it's kind of deviating from what I asked, but is it the technical side of tricks that cause you more issue, or is it actually the landing? Because for me, it's always actually managing to get both feet on the board. I can manage the trick 100 times through, and I'll land next to the board like every time.
I think it just depends on your level. Once you, if you're learning how to skate, the commitment could be the hardest part. And then once you kind of learn the basics and start getting a little more comfortable on your board, then it's the more technical, like how much do I have to scoop my board? How much do I have to flick it to make it go this high and then catch it into a grind? And it varies, but skateboarding is, yeah, I think the best way I could describe it is that it's just a beautiful way to kind of work on yourself and to come to terms with, you know, things aren't easy, and life isn't always going to be, sunshine, easy roads, and you know people just carving your way for you. You really got to fight for the things that you're passionate about, and I think skateboarding is a really good way to do that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the second part of the question, why do it with Braille? Why should people listen and take your advice and use your help?
There's two reasons. The first reason is that Aaron is one of the most fantastic teachers I've ever seen. A lot of tutorial videos you see online are very basic, and they don't really explain the intricacies of skateboarding. Aaron just bought a brand new slow motion camera, films 2,000 frames per second, and we have not made one single video with it yet. All Aaron has been doing is filming himself doing these tricks and analyzing every single frame of what his feet are doing on that skateboard to figure it out better so he could then say it in a video and help people learn better. So, skateboarding made simple, our tutorials, all of this stuff that we put up on the internet is the most comprehensive, detailed. Just Aaron has spent hours upon hours studying it, trying to help these people learn the best way. So, in terms of it being honestly the best tutorials, I think that's the case. But I just think that Braille, the YouTube channel, and all of our platforms, I just think it's a really good way to learn how to skateboard just by being able to put yourself next to someone and be able to grow with them. So if you're a brand new skater watching Fetty trying to do a kickflip down the five stair, that could be your end goal. You can be like, if I can learn how to do this, I think, you know, I'll be super happy with my skating, and I'm just going to keep going every single day until I learn how to do a kickflip, and then I'm going to go down all of these different stairs, and then I'm going to take it down the five stair, and I'm going to be hyped, and that's what it's all about.
And you make it look so fun. You've inspired me so much. And you've been such a great guest. Honestly, I did not expect the conversation to flow as well as it has. It's always a bit intimidating talking to someone for the first time. Um, But yeah, Gabe, thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you so much for having me.
Anything you would like to plug, to say before we conclude?
Yeah, just if you can subscribe to Braille Skateboarding, that would be fantastic. Pick up a skateboard, learn how to skate. If you watch this podcast, go ahead and DM me on Instagram at Gabe Cruz 01 and let me know what you thought, and tell me if you learned anything from this podcast, and if you have any questions, definitely feel free to ask me.
That's awesome, and obviously I will link to everything in the description. And I am hopefully going to be in the States next year, and we are making it our mission to head over to Braille to hopefully get to check it out for ourselves. So hopefully
Absolutely.
I will get to maybe meet you in the future. That would be lovely.
Definitely. Let's make it happen.
Take it easy, dude. Thank you.
All right, you too. Bye-bye. Hey, I feel kind of good right now.
I hope you enjoyed that episode of the podcast. It was such a privilege to have Gabe on the show. I am a huge fan of Braille Skateboarding. I love their videos. I love all the people on the team. So please, all the links are underneath. Give everyone a follow. Give Gabe a follow. Give the other skaters on the team a follow. And obviously, give Braille Skateboarding a follow. Sign up to the newsletter. Watch the videos. If you are trying to learn to skateboard or just want a bit of a push and some help with some tricks, they are definitely the people to help you out. And if you did enjoy the episode, then please leave us a review, give us a like, give us some feedback. We would love to know how we can make this better. And as always, thanks for listening and take care.
Just like, get on your skateboard and go do your thing. Because, you never lose the passion. The passion is there every single time you step on a skateboard. It's just the time sometimes really takes away from it. So really, there's just those times where you just have to shut everything off. So, sometimes we'll film a video and I'll, do a few kickflips afterwards. And I'll just feel my legs. Hey, I feel kind of good right now.